You get me this.
Ready, Nikita, and we're off.
All right, good afternoon, 49th Wing Sharks. I am Major Nikita Weathersby. I'm currently the Chief of MQ-9 Wing Training, and here I've got my NCOIC of Wing Training. Today we are here to seek an investment from the 49th Wing Sharks on behalf of the 49th Operations Group for innovation and readiness funds. So about a year ago, my office was tasked to start looking at the FTU and see areas that we could improve our training. So if you've ever walked through the hallways of the 16th, or you've ever sat in an academic classroom, then you know we have a lot of room for improvement. However, we reached out to the CAP. We wanted to know what our actual operations groups thought about the product that we were sending them. The recent feedback was that our new sections lack systems knowledge and overall emergency procedures knowledge. And then we wanted to know what our students thought about us. The biggest point of feedback that we see, so the largest point of feedback that pops up in every single student survey, is that the students are not super happy with their current laptops. The reason is they find them cumbersome, and they also have a really hard time accessing information in after hours. They also are used to getting iPads down at Randolph, which is our current undergraduate pipeline, and so they are looking for a new solution. So that allowed us to formulate our problem statement. Essentially what we came up with is that the MQ-9 FTU is not currently leveraging all available technology to maximize training quality and effectiveness. So the bottom line up front, what are we looking for? Today we're seeking an initial investment for interactive multimedia instruction, student tablets, and instructor tablets. So here, big fancy graph here, big picture, is that Bloom's 1950s taxonomy essentially covers academic learning. In 2001, it was updated by Anderson and Grohol with the most current research in education and cognitive learning. This is a derivative of that actual research. There's 6 levels of learning. And what we've identified is that level 3, repetition, applied learning, is what we lack here at the MQ-9 FTU. So we have a gap. So essentially we decided, okay, well, we need to close that gap. How do we close the gap? We close it through repetition, we close it through immersive learning and content on demand, and we also need to cater to different learning styles, kinesthetic, audio, and visual learners. Right now we cater to our readers and our writers.
So as you can see here, we decided on a tablet format, and we started asking the questions of what exactly we'd want our tablet for. Wi-Fi capable was a big one. Standardization is another one that's important because we want to make sure we use something that the Air Force has started to adopt when it comes to that. The Air Force Program of Record had just spoke about a battery life. We want to make sure we have something that would last a full workday when it comes to that. Cost effective, and then also too, you see that classroom interactivity, and that's where we selected the iPad.
So big picture, back to one of our first points of feedback, we need to give the student a tool, essentially, to be able to conduct online and offline learning anywhere, anytime. These are the requirements based off of what we know that they would need here at the FTU to meet that.
Here's some supporting data for you. You can see the UPT program has been using iPads for a while now, and from that 194 iPads, only one of them was cracked, one stolen, and one hardware failed. They selected, and we use the MDM software, which is MOS 360. It's a security software that controls the iPad from one end to the other. No one can install anything, only we can. You can't look at anything online unless we let you look at it online, so it has total control of the iPad in itself. And then also you see just below that the syllabus rewrite. We're going to start tailoring a syllabus rewrite towards the technology side of the aspect. And then you can see down here at the bottom, you can see Air Force has begun starting to use iPads throughout MatchComs.
So moving on, how are you actually going to implement this? So the way that we plan to implement it is to issue 580 iPads, if we get funding, to our instructors and our students. Currently the 16th owns 40 iPads as test tablets, but those are included in this number. Additionally, what we want to do is we want to take the current 250 plus laptops that we have that we already own and make 3 to 4 mission planning labs out of them. Those mission planning labs would exist upstairs in the 9th potentially, the 16th trailer, the 6th trailer, and would be comprised of 125 stations. We don't want to remove the ability for the student to take home their mission planning software, so therefore we would hold 125 on the side that they could be issued to during after hours. We also would have our individual squadrons manage the iPads, and then the 16th would manage the student iPads. Here's an example floor plan. I'm going to draw your attention down here to the bottom right of this screen here. You can see exactly what we're trying to depict here with this mission planning lab format. So essentially you could have pilot and sensor operator sit right next to each other, and maybe even sit next to a couple other crews and work together. And oh, by the way, we have potential instructor stations here where students could go ask questions to instructors throughout the day.
Our hardware layout looks like this. She told you that it was about 540 iPads. That would also include cases and 2 years of Apple Care along with those iPads. The 3 iMac 5K computers are actually what run the whole iPad system. That's where your MDM software lives, and that's how you control all those iPads. Commercial Wi-Fi is the bigger aspect of it. We run these iPads off our own network, not on AFNet aspects. And then just some miscellaneous, you see just routers, modems, and surge protectors when it comes to that. And currently right now the application GoodReader is one that we have to pay for as well.
All right, so we know that the tablet doesn't fix our full problem here, right? So the CAF feedback, students lack that systems knowledge and the emergency procedural knowledge. So that's where we want to bring in IMI to function on those tablets. So IMI specifically is interactive multimedia instruction, and we want to tailor it down to systems procedures and emergency procedures, or systems knowledge and emergency procedures. Here are the 4 levels of IMI depicted. And then for those who have tablets, if you could open up to your home screen, 11111, so all ones is the password, and you should have the MQ9 prototype app up. Just select all ones until it opens up for you, and it should already be on the correct screen. Awesome. So if you hit the start button, this is an MQ9 prototype that was built by a program or a company called i3. And essentially what we want to do is we want to build out this application. So right now it has very limited functionality. But what we are asking for is specific system of failure animations, and have the display depicted in the cockpit, and as you would see on the aircraft. So imagine the students sitting at home, they want to practice, say, a fire, an engine fire. So essentially they could select that, or they could have the system select something for them. That would show up on their screen. It would walk them through the checklist, and they could even see, say, the oil system is feeding the fire. They could actually see that system and see what's actually happening. This would be in 2 applications, instructor and student version, so optimized for both. And the instructor can provide injects even during a brief. And oh, by the way, it's got an analytic backend, which reduces our cost, actually, because we're taking it from the Army. The Army already has a learning management system that we can leverage for this. 6-month build out from May to September, so we would see this before the end of the next fiscal year, and 70% of our flight manual EPs would be covered in this. So here, we want you to picture the possibilities. Today, we're at the innovative idea stage. But tomorrow we think we could leverage IMI, tablets, and we're also working on a side effort to build out a video library to help us standardize here at the FTU. We know that there are multiple different iterations to get where we're trying to go, but this is the foundational request that we need to get where we want to go. Now, the final part, the fun part, and it's going to be a whammy, the investment. So shucks, today, the 49th Operations Group is seeking an initial investment for innovation and readiness funds of $1.05 million. So we know that's a lot of money, and here's the breakdown of where all that money is going. $500,000 covers the IMI, $200,000 covers the student tablets and all the supported equipment that is required, $347,000 covers the instructor tablets and all of the supported equipment. We're Form 9 ready. We accept cash, check, credit card, PayPal, Venmo. But if that's a little bit much, we broke it down into tiers so that we can maybe at least get partial funding. So we've got tiers 1 through 4 that we've got depicted, and they're also on the handouts for you. They're somewhat they're in priority order depending on how much funding is available. But essentially, it's combinations of the student tablets, IMI, and instructor tablets, all the way up to the full package. All right, so you're probably wondering, what do you get for this amount of money? The return on investment. So standardization, it's a big problem in our FTU, within our FTU, and it's also a problem between our FTU and our undergraduate RPA pipeline. So we're trying to standardize. The students coming in already use tablets, already use iPads, smart devices, so we want to make it the same across the board and synchronize. And we also want to synchronize with efforts down at RPA Next. Targeted instruction, so specific instruction to our students. So again, we can see what they've studied, how long they've studied it, when they've studied it, relative to these specific applications that we want to put on these devices. And oh, by the way, it's device agnostic and it's a PC build, so it could go on a government laptop with the right approvals. Familiarization, repetition, and it's applicable to our entire enterprise. So again, the CAF feedback that our students are showing up with a lack of systems knowledge, that's prevalent across our enterprise, and it affects our overall community readiness. So this helps provide support to the entire community, and oh, by the way, this application is applicable to our maintenance brethren as well. There's also an increased number, or an additional number of items here, reduction in paper and ink cost, there's a lot of different things that we can leverage here. So overall, that concludes our presentation. What questions do you have for us?
City Creek purchasing iPads. What do they plan on doing with their iPads?
So right now, the 11th, I believe, is the only squadron that has iPads, or at least they're currently en route. They don't have them yet. They would use them as EFBs, to my knowledge, so electronic flight bags, which host their publications.
The content, you say you've already built most of it, or is it still part of this as well?
So the content specifically for the systems and emergency procedures would be built by a company called i3.
Okay. And that's already in, is that already in the estimate?
Yes, sir.
That's the 500.
That's the 500,000.
Is our reservation?
What are my instructors going to do with iPads?
So, sir, they would do the same thing the students would do. So essentially, they would have all their content on there. So, of course, all the publications, everything that they would need from the mission execution drive, dance cards. They would also have any additional applications, like for instance this, also on those tablets.
Okay. So Tier 1 doesn't include any iPads?
It does not, sir. And
We
it's
would
a
use the 40 iPads that we have currently,
Yeah.
and just give them out to a class doing it that.
So, yeah, we think our most current immediate need is the IMI, because that really starts to drive at the systems, the lack of systems knowledge, and again, catering to those different learning styles. There is a mid-level IMI that's on there, so it's $250. It's got less 3D graphics in it. It is an option. It's not as robust as the full 3D IMI, but still pretty good.
Why isn't my CWD building me interactive EPs that students can do at home?
So, sir, that is absolutely something we could request right now, because that contract is being contested. There's really nothing we can do until June, July timeframe. So this allows us to get after it a little bit sooner in the application format. And that's assuming that they can do it. And if they can't do it, then they have to subcontract it out.
I know they can do it as they do for other MDSs.
Yes, sir.
Only MDS doesn't have
Yes.
interactive EPs for the students. So it's a big bill to ask us to take it on to the level. Big Air Force is paying for this.
Yes, sir.
So if IMI creates the EPs, who owns it? The building.
We would own it, sir.
We won't have the technology to manipulate it and build on our.
So we get source coding, is that you were asking? So do we get the source code so we can give it to anybody else to manipulate it?
I can finally answer that question, but I believe it would be government owned, from my knowledge.
So that's good, you can give it to any other contractor to build upon or spiral on
That's a lot of money, though.
it. Yeah,
Very
so
rarely you're gonna give
I'm
me
assuming it's not 250, it's probably $5 million for source code. It's pretty expensive.
Yeah.
It's something we can ask.
No.
classrooms. So, sir, sorry, can I add one more thing?
Sure.
So one thing I do want to say too, as far as the IMI and having CAT CWD take on this, and of course the funding that goes along with it, is that that MQ9 prototype app that you're looking at has been around since 2017, and nothing has been done with it. I think that if we were able to acquire something like IMI, it would help establish a requirement, which we could then say, hey, look, this is our instructors and our students are eating this up. They're doing so much better.
I'm worried about the tail though, Nikita, because there's 2408 drops and I changed the label on 7 buttons on the cockpit.
Yes, sir.
I've got the same problem I have, right? Yesterday I did an ISR 4 and my student didn't know how to freaking do KU. The EP of the day was KU loss return linking correctly. And my students' general knowledge on ISR 4 was so poor that I hopped on the shared drive, which by the way is not hard. It's in the brief room, so we can talk about whether I need the tablet to do this or not.
Right.
But I tried to launch the menu trainer. Of course, the menu trainer is for 9042. Or that new one is like 24 or whatever, but it doesn't actually have the EPs and the menus properly. So I had zero capability to instruct my student on what buttons they needed to push to actually run the EPs and the checklist that I was trying to instruct them on. But again, it's $500,000 to do 2407, and then whatever that bill is every time 2408 goes out 8 months later. I didn't want to instruct on that for you because the menus actually have changed for where you access the encryption buttons for the year. So I have a hard time hitting the I believe button on the tail of let's go do some software development and then hope that this is still relevant to me 6 to 12 months. I've argued that the stuff that I've got in the share drive now, let's see, there you are. That if we're sitting on the sugar drive now is not giving me what I want, right?
And are already grabbing her feet.
Yeah.
So we did ask about sustainment costs and about software updates. They said about 10 grand in about 1 to 3 months to get that incorporated in. So fairly quick turnaround time if we can provide them the information that they need. And they work hand in hand with JSIL.
So I think it is good that it's a JSIL product, not ACC acquired product. I think JSIL is more willing to thinking future acquisitions, commonalities.
IMI is a government company.
JSIL is a government company that was started.
JSIL subcontracts to I3.
Okay.
So it's probably additional something.
Right.
Just a question. How many students are in academics at the same time? Roughly, so like everybody's in academics, haven't had a flight line yet. How many different classes do you have?
There's usually only one class in academics for the first block cert, but then it goes, they do later phases.
Then they have the flight line?
Well, they do academics once they're on the flight line, like advanced phase academics, but the first block is about 2 weeks long.
I've seen it. It's the third time. I may not take notes, but I've seen it brief like 3 times. So I appreciate it. You guys do better every time. Thank you. Yeah, thanks, Nikita.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much.